All right, so now I want to be looking at the schedule for the class. And when we go through this, these are the kinds of projects and kinds of things you're going to be working on. In the beginning, we're going to start the class by watching a film called Metropolis. And this is a film that I don't want to give anything away. It's a early example of some pioneering film techniques, and we're going to watch that. Then we're going to look at the behind the scenes of the film, so you can kind of see a little bit of how they made it. You get an appreciation of it. Once you've watched the film and watched the behind the scenes, you're going to be answering questions, the Metropolis review questions, and it's a series of questions that make you reflect on the film and ask about the experience that you had basically with the film itself. And so it's for reflection. We're going to be looking at historical backgrounds, kind of content about development of digital media, development of the computer, what the tools were used for, and how things have progressed up till now. We'll look at a lot of examples of old film, old imagery, the early examples of computer art, early special effects, and those things as things have evolved over time. From there, you're going to be learning to kind of work with within the boundaries of limitations, as we see from these early films and the early historical elements. Is that we have somewhat of a luxury right now where we can do just about anything we can imagine, but that was not the case many years ago. I mean, just a few years ago, there were limits, and there are limits today, even though they don't feel like limits. It might be how much computing power your computer has, or the type of monitor that you have, or your graphics card. But I'm also talking about limitations like in the 1900s. The camera itself was brand new, and no one was using it for what we use it now, and people were exploring and experimenting with things. There weren't computers to do special effects. There weren't all industrial light and magic to solve all your problems for your movies. There weren't really movies. They were just getting started. So when you wanted to express something, how could you do it? How could you make something look the way you wanted it to? How could you make it look like you're in the world of giants when all you had was this little clunky film camera? It took an imagination. It took a lot of ingenuity to do that. And I want you to begin utilizing your own individual creativity and ingenuity as you move through the class to create and communicate ideas through art, but also by the use of the computer, and sometimes by not using the computer. And so that's what some of these projects are about. Again, as we start and go through the schedule, there are certain days that are holidays. We have Labor Day this year. Your first project is going to actually be a digital camera experiment where you are creating illusions. So you'll want to be looking at that when the time comes. We're going to be developing images through the use of writing digital code, and how you write code and how you actually do that is part of this class, where you make very complex, very beautiful images by writing out lines and lines of code to put places, marks, images, shapes, forms, color values where you want them. And so as you move along, you'll be learning these techniques. We'll talk about visual literacy and introduce the software processing to you, and learning about syntax and how you write code properly. Then we'll get into making tonal images and color images just by writing code. And then we'll move into the second part, where we introduce color, where we start working with more sophisticated software, and we start making color a part of our palette. No pun intended, I guess. The early stuff is kind of black and white. And now you have color. It's a whole nother level of thinking, a whole nother way of thinking about its application. And color is added to the composition. The composition could still be strong without it because of tone and other principles of design, but then you add color to it. And what are the effects of color? What's the psychology of color? How can you use it? How can you actually group colors together so they make sense and not just kind of like a random shot in the dark and you just hope for the best kind of thing? So you'll be working with processing there too, but we'll also begin looking at the paint applications, paint software. We'll do basic 8-bit types of paintings where you will be creating art by painting a single pixel at a time to create something like an 8-bit game character, something like that. Then we'll move into the more advanced software like Photoshop, and we'll begin working with creating image manipulation, where we'll take several different images, take parts of one image and put it into another to create something new and different, to communicate an idea, to create a mood or an unusual relationship, which is quite interesting to do, and you'll be learning how to do that. In the middle of the semester, we'll have a midterm project that you'll be working on, where you'll come to class and you will basically come in and take a test to show that you understand these ideas, these principles. But the test isn't going to be a written test like a bunch of questions. It's going to be a doing. You have to do something, a task, where you have to make sure you know how to do it and use the software. You can create an idea and have an idea and then demonstrate that in class on your own. After that, we're going to be looking at video games. We're going to watch the film Wreck-It Ralph, and then we're going to start talking about games. What is a game? What is a game document? How does it work? What's in it? How can you develop something? How can you develop your idea in a game document? And then we go through the process of taking that document, building the assets from it, meaning you're going to have to use these paint skills, programming skills to create this game. And so it all ends up being studying different types of game maker code and game maker techniques, how you make something. So there's a lot of learning to do there. And then at the end, you end up seeing that you've thought of a concept, you made all the attributes for it, you've described it, you've made everything that goes in it, you coded it, and then at the end, it's a file that other people can share. You can share that with other people, that I can play the game and other people can play the game, and then you can see, well, what did I do right, what did I do wrong, what did I do wrong, what needs to be adjusted, what can I add to it, what can I take away, and you actually have something that ends up being a representation of your concept. And so that's the end of the semester pretty much. So you take all of these ideas and all of these skills that you're learning, and then you apply them in a single game, showing that you can do these things. Now, that's pretty much the whole semester in a nutshell. As we go along in this class, you'll be either online, or you'll either be in the classroom, or you can be in a hybrid where you'll be doing the same exact things, just at a different pace, a once a week type of pace, where you come in on the first day of the week. It might be a Monday or a Tuesday. We go over principles, we go over concepts. It's not necessarily a lecture time, but it's a time to answer questions, give a basic overview of what you're doing, and then the rest of the week you do the work. You do the concepts, you learn, you read, you watch the videos, you apply these techniques on your own, and then you have your project, your image, if it's an image, if it's a script, if it's a game, and then you have that when you return on the due dates. So make sure you are watching the schedule. Make sure you are aware of what is due when and what you need to be watching and reading. There's a lot of content and a lot of stuff that you need to be developing as you go along. Most people are doing this stuff for the first time, or maybe, if not for the first time, in more of a applied way, where they're actually having to do a specific thing and not just doing a tutorial or something quick and easy. And so make sure you're following the schedule. If you have any questions, you can email me through Cobra, and I'll be sure to help you out as much as I can. All right, have fun.